So if you never heard of Hilton Head Island before, it is a place in South Carolina. No, and the place is going to face a demographic crisis. So a place like Hilton Head Island, you'd think would be getting a lot of people wanting to live there. But Hilton Head Island has two problems. Two problems it's going to have to face in the future. One is the demographics of the city. The demographics of the city, there's only around 40,000 or so people living there. Okay, you know, and it's a 10% poverty rate. But the average growth of the metro area isn't that bad. It's at 1.81%, which is pretty good. But the actual city itself, the metro area, the city itself, yeah. Okay, we hit the population pyramid here, which the average age in Hilton Head Island is 58 years old. So that is basically a problem because we've talked about people talk about, oh yeah, Germany, people talk about all these countries, and yes, there is a big boom. There is a smaller portion of the population that's younger, but the problem with Hilton Head Island is that it's expensive. Okay, it is the second most expensive place in South Carolina, the whole state. I think that's the big problem with Hilton Head Island. It's really expensive. It's not as expensive as places as San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York City. Okay, New York City is probably more expensive to live in than Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. But again, the third problem is that nobody knows about Hilton Head Island. No one knows about Hilton Head Island, and and again, a lot of people are moving to South Carolina. Okay, but if people are moving to South Carolina are people who are not rich people, they are middle class people. Okay, all you have to do is look at Bluffton's population. Okay, Bluffton population, which is a part of was near Hilton Head Island, right by Hilton Head Island. Beaufort as well. Beaufort was at around 12,000 and went up to around 13,000. But Bluffton, which is right by Hilton Head Island, was 11,547 and is around 20,000. So it grew by around 9,000 because people do want to live in this area. People do want to live in the low country area. People want to live in Charleston, Bluffton, and all these areas. But the problem is that a lot of this area is very expensive. Okay, look at the housing prices. And so in Hardyville and Bluffton grew a lot. Okay, Hardyville and Bluffton was a buy. Hilton Head Island grew a lot as well. Beaufort County's population grew 15%. Jasper went up from 16% as well. So, but Hilton Head Island is not gaining population because Hilton Head Island is very expensive and it's not a very well. It is a pretty well known place because people are moving to Bluffton, which Bluffton is right by Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Okay, and 150,000 people visit every summer. So the population can swell up to 150,000 people in the summer. And the thing is, the wages in South Carolina are not that great, and the wages are not that, especially not that great in South Carolina, Hilton Head Island. Especially during this current administration with the inflation crisis, I don't really see many more people moving to Hilton Head Island because of the inflation crisis. It says any wages are not that great anyways in the state of South Carolina. When you can really just go live in Bluffton, and it's basically much easier to live there and work in Hilton Head Island than live in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Which is why the median age is so high, and it has been going higher every year. Yeah. Yeah. And again, a lot of people do retire in Hilton Head, which is mostly most of the population increase. But with the older population, it is very hard to keep, a stable population, which is around 40,000 people. And the population has been growing very slowly, mostly retirees moving to the city. But if a place is really expensive, if people are not gonna really want to go there because it's very expensive. People are gonna go to the more cheaper places right by the area as well. But the difference between Hilton Head Island and, for example, let's put in San Francisco. But again, San Francisco is starting to lose people as well because nobody wants to live in that, wants to live in San Francisco anymore. But San Francisco's population went up from 778,000 people to around 800,000 people. So it went up by around 100,000 people. Okay, San Diego went up as well, and San Jose passed 1,000,000 people as well. Okay. Again, even like a place like San Francisco, the population's starting to overwhelm because people just don't want to live here in San Francisco because it's so expensive in San Francisco, which you can't really blame people for not wanting to live in San Francisco because it's really expensive. Population's only going like 1,000 a day, you know. And yeah, San Francisco's population only grew by 0.12%, which is probably the lowest it has been in such a long time. And again, this is the population pyramid of course San Francisco. Again, a lot of young people don't want to live in San Francisco, and the birth rate is very low in San Francisco as well, because of course there's a lot of people who are liberals, and liberals don't have babies, basically. Which is true because liberals have lower birth rates than conservatives. Let's look at every conservative state having a higher birth rate except for Hawaii. And I think one other state that I keep forgetting its name has a higher birth rate than, of course, like every conservative state. And I think the lowest conservative state with lowest birth rate is West Virginia, but nobody wants to live in West Virginia anyways. So overall, Hilton Head Island is also a very Republican area, so there's not really many Democrats living there. But yep, that's basically about this video. Goodbye.